Welcome to part 3 of chopping a 50 Merc at the Kansas Chop Class with Joel Davis. This is Sunday of the 3-day weekend. This is when we put it all together and you get to see the sail panels come in and see how the back window fits into play. We start on Sunday by cutting out the last little bit that's holding the back window in place. Sometimes you're able to lay it forward and have it work perfectly. This time we had to actually cut it completely out so we could set it where we need it to be and then weld it back in. That took getting somebody inside the car to cut a couple braces out. Then we had to cut some reliefs in the roofs so we could reshape it as it needed to be for the window to fit back together. And then because we were going to be welding around those cuts, we went ahead and ground off the paint and primer, got down to bare metal so we could have a clean weld on both sides. While that was going on, a template had been made of the driver's side quarter window, and they were kind of matching up the passenger side so we could make both sides the same. That way both pieces of glass could be cut the same, both trim sections could be done the same, trying to make both sides identical as possible.
We may have to trim this edge down to basically nothing here. Let's do that just because I think we're going to have to.
After a little bit of trimming, it was time to start seeing how that rear window was really going to lay into shape. Get some big C-clamps and try to hold it in place. All of a sudden, an interruption happened, though. Someone showed up with donuts, so work stopped. After a short donut break, we were back at it. We were making some cuts here in this surround around the window so we could pull it out to meet the metal of the body, and we could gradually shape the two together.
So this is the part where
Finally, you could see what the real shape of the whole chop was going to look like. It was really coming together. It was just about time to get that structure in place so we could start building sail panels to fill in all the gaps. One handy little tip of the weekend is if you're putting a small piece of metal back into a piece of body, you can weld a little piece of welding rod to it, use it as a handle to hold it in place, and then when you're done, just snap it off. With the B-pillars coming together, it was time to start concentrating on filling the gaps in the sail panels. So we started with some big pieces of cardboard so Joel could draw out the rough shape of what he was going to want for the
preliminary
filler
shape.
panels.
We're going to trim this down, but you always want to make patterns a little bit bigger, work your way down. Same thing with when you're making your actual pieces.
Then it was time to cut out the first actual template so we could get a piece of metal started so he could show us how to form it for the sail panels. After the initial template was cut, we went back and refined it a little bit to try to get a little bit closer to the actual piece we would need.
On that bottom edge, right?
How many fingers is that?
For you, probably 2 or 3.
After some inside jokes, it was time to get the metal cut. And even though we just trimmed down the template, the goal here was to have more metal than we needed when we cut it out. We just wanted that template shape to be closer to what we exactly needed so you knew how much more to have and not waste a bunch of material. This turned out to be a very important step because we almost didn't get these 2 pieces of metal cut out of this one big chunk.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to get kind of the center here. We want to figure out right where we're going to be putting the curve into this. And then we want to put the curve in right where it belongs, right? So I like to just hold it steady right there. Move it your way a little bit. I like to make lines here, kind of where the majority of the curvature is, and where we're going to need a little bit more, and get this kind of curved down. Let's see, that's going to be about right here. just to get started with shaping something, right? That's already looking closer. And what we want to make sure of is that we're getting it wrapped around where we want it here. Just for starters, just kind of roughing things in a little bit. Now obviously, this, if we clamped it down and everything would be super duper flat, right? And we don't want that. Like I said, there's a lot of cars out there that, especially shoe boxes and stuff, that they lay out the back window and then things get super flat. So by marking this the way that I've marked it, I kind of know where I need to put a little bit of curvature and where I need to bump it out a little bit. Anyway, so this is one thing. Now I want to transfer my little design.
Sharpie.
Yeah, I just stole somebody's.
Took mine and lost it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You got 50 at home.
Oh, well, yeah, all right. Anyway, so I want to pay attention to where my circles are here on the back or on the front, and put them to the back. Now, the other thing I'm paying attention to is where these lines are. This is the kind of the crown of the roof, right? Is going to be right about there. So you want to pay attention to that and put a little bit of dish in. I'm going to use the bigger mallet because that's what we're supposed to do. So again, if you don't do this, things can look a little bit flat. Now, can you guys see already that it's shaped and giving it a little bit of dome? Now, a lot of this has to do with how hard you hit it. I need less curvature and stuff in the back edge of that roof, right? I need more up in this corner. So that's what I'm doing here. This is going to end up coming around. This is already raised up a little bit. I could probably use just a little bit more right around down in here just to bring that corner out just a little bit like it should be. You know, on this piece, I've lightly tapped it like I did up in here a little bit. And you really don't need to. The English wheel will take care of a little bit of this curvature, so you really don't need to do that. Again, that's kind of a feel thing. Yeah, what you want to do there is, we've made sure it's clean already. So you want to smooth out those walnuts that you've got. This is a thing that takes a little bit of feel and all of that. So you just have to take your time. This will probably take about 20 minutes or something to get all these little walnuts smoothed out. Again, there's... Huh?
That's when they have a commercial.
Yeah, that's when we have a commercial. Hey, remember to like and subscribe and smash that subscribe button on Roy Boy's channel while you're at it. Yeah, if you need to go get a snack or something like that, this is the time to do it.
Don't forget that the new custom Because Stock Sucks shirts are now for sale on royboyproductions.com/stocksucks.
I want to make sure that this has enough curve and that this gets up and curved where it needs to, right? This can be a pain in the ass sometimes when you've got a big old long one like this, because you'll end up with like this long taco thing, right? And the trick is to get more English wheel up and down right in here to bring it around a little bit. So you kind of have to go up and down along this area in order to get that curve going where it needs to too. Sometimes you can take some of this out if you clamp it down, and then you do the cutting and grinding down on that, and when you weld it, you'll be able to kind of shrink things into place using some of the heat of the welder and whatnot. So anyways, we're gonna get some of these other walnuts out, and then I'm gonna just keep focusing on this, and I'll tell you the story about when I found my Mercury.
To hear that story, you really need to take the class. You have to be there in person. So I've cut this way down because this was a lot more work to get this shape closer to where Joel wanted it, but it's starting to get there. After one how I found my Mercury length story, we were starting to get very close on the driver's side sail panel area.
What we're gonna do here is we're just mocking this up, right? So everybody let's clear this stuff off the road and we can kind of see, and I want to be able to just walk around it, and you guys can tell me what you see, what's going on, you know, what we need to do here, all of that. So let's see if I can fix this. It's close, but it's not close enough yet. Oh, here. You don't need to have a shit ton of pressure on there. You know, you want, it's a feel thing as far as how it draws through there. And I put a little bit of pressure, like if I'm trying to get this to curve out a little bit more, I'm putting a little bit of pressure on that. I'm following my lines, and so it's just a feel thing, you know, and it's something that this is like the 50th, 60th sail panel, whatever that I've done. So it's something that you just get the hang of. And again, you want to bring that corner around. You can actually go right up to that edge with it. And that's gonna shape it how you want. You know, I can see that I've got more curve in it right now. I don't know if you guys can see that from over there. Okay. So yeah, you wanna do that. You wanna put a little bit of pressure on the piece, right? Just to kind of help it. You don't wanna put too much pressure, otherwise you're gonna hit the corners of the bottom die and put a bunch of weird ridges and stuff in there. So you don't wanna do that. I'm gonna go this way because it's easier to get rid of these walnuts again. But I'm also gonna put a little bit of pressure on the piece itself.
You say pressure, but downward pressure.
Yeah, a little bit of downward pressure on it just to try and help it shape just a little bit. And same thing when you get out here. You put a little bit of downward pressure, but you still got to keep it kind of in line.
So you didn't tighten the wheels up, you just put them down.
Right, yeah, and you can tighten the wheel up just a hair, but a quarter turn does a lot, you know. With having a little bit of a flat spot on the bottom die, you really don't want to have too much pressure on it because it'll put little ridges in it all over the place. And we're getting a little bit of that, so I'm actually going to back it off again. So, you know, a lot of it's knowing your tool, knowing how to work it. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you got a Harbor Freight English wheel or you know, a fancy Bailey one. I prefer this one. So that's what I've got at home, so I like it. But again, having that 40-inch throat's really nice. And if Bailey wants to sponsor me, go ahead. Right, so that's coming out. We've got a little funky spot there. And again, this is another thing, that the more time you spend on it, the smoother you can get it. Sometimes you can overwork a piece and then you got problems. I'm gonna assume that we still have kind of the same issues going on here. Those areas and right around the general vicinity of those areas. Same deal down here, a little bit bigger tucks. Ugh. So, gotta get it in there first. You want to go right over that edge on each one of those. And that's gonna...
Are you just going straight down the center of each of your tucks?
Yeah, for right now. For right now I am. Yeah. We'll see how much it works, you know. Sometimes you got to do it a few times. Also, a little bit of angle here. You want to keep, for the most part, you want to keep your sheet metal, you know, real flat and parallel. On this case, I'm gonna kind of bend it around just a little bit, and we'll see what that did.
After it was getting a little bit closer, we clamped it back in place one more time to see what was left to shape it to where it needed to be, where it's close enough to start cutting out the metal underneath and welding it in place. Before we get into that, though, it's time to set that back window frame in place.
Okay. That's enough for right there. And then you want to be cooling it down. And then we're going to go over here just a little bit. Before we want to keep this, we want it right there. Okay, and this one's fine. Just I gotta get her tightened up. On that one, we want to pull it out and tack it a little bit. There's a few tricks that you got to do here. One thing you want to do is when you're recutting, I'll show this to you. When you're recutting it, you want to kind of work it like a bed sheet when you're making your bed. So you want to go from the center out to the edges. Two places where I know that things are going to work out. And you guys pay attention in the next 45 minutes or whatever, because this is what y'all paid for, I think.
So what's going on here is Joel is cutting through both the new metal and the existing metal, so the cut is exactly lined up on both pieces. Then he'll tap the new metal down to the height of the existing metal, tack it in place all the way around the panel.
Is going about a foot, something like that. And then I go back. I beat that edge down right where I want it. As much as I can here. We want to get that right where I want it here. You don't want to weld it fully. Why? Well, you got that, plus you want to be able to get this old sheet metal out before, right there. I'm going to re-weld it. Damn, I never knew.
So by about 2:30 on Sunday afternoon, the driver's side sail panel was pretty much tacked in place. You can see here Joel's cutting it out so you have that exact line. Then you tack it in. That way you can remove the metal underneath before you weld it in solid.
Back here, right? But we want to go about an inch apart from each other. We're going about an inch away and then back here. Then an inch away and back here. Right? An inch away, back here. Right?
Yeah.
After giving some English little lessons to a couple guys to get that second sail panel getting close to shape, it was time to finish up the weekend, finish up the chop. We're going to get this all welded in, but some of the guys had to start getting ready to leave. So it was time to take a look at the car from the side, see what we really did before we said goodbye to some of the guys. That is pretty much it on the chop class. So here's the last bit of testimonials. Thank you, everybody, for being involved with this and for letting me be involved with this.
I'd have to say the sail panel. I knew what you were going to do there, but actually seeing it happen and take place, and really in the next few weeks, getting to see more of it get finished is going to be amazing.
Cool.
So that's what I told Dave. He's going to have to update everybody as it goes along to get it on the
that's the
chassis
rule.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I came in kind of knowing what to expect and not know what to expect. I kind of expected that we'd be cutting a roof apart and adding center sections and this and that. And, you know, it blew my mind seeing how it actually came together with way less pieces than I expected. And just learning Joel's flowetry and motion was really well worth the price of the class. Getting to learn the English wheel and how to form shapes and contour things to put back your metal where it needs to be is just very good class. Even if you're not going to leave here chopping a top, you're going to leave here with knowledge of basics, and that's going to lead you somewhere else. So it was well worth the class.
Thank you. Dave?
It's been an awesome class. I've learned a lot of stuff this weekend, and doing the pie cuts and the pillars before we start cutting, and the sail panels, the money shot. It's been a really good experience.
Cool. Zach?
Watching the sail panel and the back windows come together and just watching the light bulbs click in everybody's heads is they figured something out. So.
Very good. Nobody mentioned MIG tagging. You forgot all about that.
Oh,
Dang. All right.
that was number one.
That was Lynn's number one anyways. All right. So yeah, we had a great class. We're just about done on Sunday here, and we got a few guys that are going to head out, but a bunch of us are going to stick around for the next hour and get a little bit more done. So we'll get as much as we can done over the weekend, and then I'll be back in about a week to work on the car again. So again, like and subscribe, smash that subscribe button on Roy Boy Productions and the Chrome Pipes and Pinstripes channel. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
For more information or to sign up for Chop Class with Joel Davis, go to Chop Class with Joel Davis on Facebook. All the information will be there for where you can sign up for a class near you. If there's not one near you, contact Joel and you can set one up. Thank you for watching part 3 of How to Chop a 50 Merc from the Chop Class with Joel Davis. If you want to take one of these classes, you've got to go over to the Facebook page, sign up for one. There's so much more you'll learn than what we were able to show in these 3-part videos. Have yourself a good one. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.